Hey, I have a video that I made several times and couldn't upload, so I'm making it again, and I think this is the right time for this message. I feel the juice is flowing. I have a friend who asked me about, she's been on the same journey many of us have been on, and are still on, and she asked me, did I ever feel settled in, that after plastics did I feel settled in, because this person is trying to feel herself along, that there's just like, there seems like there's always something around the corner and she's waiting for it to happen, but she doesn't know what she's waiting for, and she wants to know if I think that's part of the whole journey. Like, am I where I want to be? And each milestone you're reaching for the next one. So there never needs to be a finish, because it's a long journey, and longer for some than others. She keeps waiting to feel settled in. Okay. So I really thought about that today. There's a lot more to it. I mean, that's really the questions, and I want to kind of nuggetize it because the last one went 20 minutes and wouldn't upload, so I might have to break this into 2 videos. Okay. I also, I started to think about this a bit. I feel settled in now, but it's almost like that's a choice. I think I remember struggling and striving to reach goal. When I was at 160, I had a dead spot, and I struggled and I struggled and I strived, and it made me insane. And so I said, I quit, I call it, I'm claiming victory, I'm done. Nobody gave me a goal. I'm going to say 160 was my finish line, and I crossed it, and let myself relax and just think about living life in a maintenance mode. Well, the minute I did that, everything started to flow forward again, and in the future months that came, I lost another 30 pounds. So, but what happened was I claimed victory. I remember very mentally saying, I am reaching, I mean, in my mind, the images would be, I am reaching for the brass ring on that merry-go-round of life, and I am grabbing it. And when you get the brass ring, you are done. You have won. You have succeeded. You are finished. So whatever happened after happened, but it didn't, so I didn't live in a continual state of trying and trying and trying and trying, and what will be next, and when will I be done. Now then, of course, I came to a place where I lost the weight. I was planning always to have plastic surgery. Did I feel finished in that waiting season? Actually, I think I always knew I was having plastic, so on one level I didn't feel finished, but it didn't keep me from relishing that year of living in a smaller frame, buying clothes, enjoying reinventing my life, reinventing who I was, getting to know who I was, learning new life skills to just enjoy being, feeling like I belonged like a regular human being. Okay, so I knew that plastics was in the future, but I had some anxiety about how long to wait for it. And so I waited the year they say you should wait. And then I saw everybody else doing it, and then I wanted to rush ahead and do it because I was like, well, everybody else is doing it, I'm going to do it. So I did it just short of a year out of my goal. And after that was done, I had another package of it 3 months later. So in one regard, I felt finished, sort of, but then there's a lot of little things after surgery, that kind of surgery that takes a long time on that little mini journey, the unswelling, the stitches coming out, the stitches that are left in that show up later, that kind of anxiety. So there is more unsettling after plastics, in a way, and that takes months to go away. And the minute that went away, I had another set of plastics, which I had anxiety about, which I did not feel were as the results post all my plastics, although overall fine. Again, there's an unsettling, an adjustment, a passageway of owning and accepting and looking for peace, not perfection. Okay, I made a video called Peace, Not Perfection after I had the lower body lift and the breasts and everything and the burning of the face. And that seemed easy in comparison to what I went through after the last one, because I struggled more with the adjustments on that last set of surgeries for myself. Knowing who this person was with her face cut and pulled back and her features look different and who she was is not the same person. That is some scary body dysmorphia issues to deal with if you have face work done. I'll just say that right now. Now, the further away we get from who we were before or looked like before, the easier it is to find peace with it. Now I don't look in the mirror and go, who is that odd looking woman? I don't recognize her. This is who I am. And the person who I used to be, that's really faded. So I don't know what it is like for other people. I know for me. So yes, in many ways, the period after you even journey through processing plastics and who you are after plastics, a perfect example, and that's another whole level of the journey and finding peace and feeling settled. Because I'm going to tell you what, you can feel just as unsettled, actually more intensely unsettled after a period of plastics, because there's major adjustments that you have absolutely no idea what's coming, and then they hit you, and then you're like, oh, well, shit, if I had known that, maybe I wouldn't have chosen this, or there's all that kind of stuff. There's actually a lot more intense things for the amount of plastics I had done, let's face it, you know. I won't even begin to talk to you about my thighs, which I now finally understand, even though they're still not great, and I wouldn't choose to do them again. I can see why he cut and sewed the way he did, in a way that aesthetically he thought that was an attractive, pleasing thing. And I actually have seen pictures of women's thighs on the internet that do have that funny little, they go in and then they come back out, and I'm thinking, what the hell did you do to me? I never looked at women's thighs enough to know that people had thighs shaped like that. But anyway, it's not about that. The point is, there is processing and unsettling, and every little unsettling is like a hill that you've got to scale and walk up and own that terrain and come to the top and take a good view and get your new world view, and then you start to go back down. I would say that's true for life, but there is a lot of stuff that has to do with here and in here when you're changing who you've been your whole life. And that is basically what our bodies have done. They are changing the way they've been our whole life. That is a lot to digest. It's a good thing, but it's unknown territory because every person is so individual and everything impacts us very uniquely. What would impact and destroy me or really tear me up might not bother somebody else, and vice versa. Something that really clicks something in their sense memory or esteem issue or non-esteem issue or just general irritations of life will not bother me, but would bother them. So I don't think this is part one. I'm ending on part one. I will be philosophizing, I think that's right, on the next part. So let me shut this off so it'll actually go up. And then we'll continue to talk about the journey and finding peace in the journey and the quest.